All right, what's happening, everyone? It's time for our third release for our local barley series, 1966 Springbank. This is going to be Cask 443. We previously reviewed 441 and 442, and now it's the last one, Cask 443. It is bottled at 58.1% ABV. And without further ado, let's pour this bad boy.
The grand finale. This is one of the most, as you said before, one of the most sought after Springbanks ever made. And just personally, you know, being Springbank heads, we've been really wanting to try this for a long time. So the whole series, but especially this one. So we're really excited about this. We hope you guys are too.
All right. So we got all three of these here, and here we're doing the final one.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother. The color is just a thick, rich, dark mahogany here. No surprise.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful color.
Gorgeous color. Wow.
All right. On the nose. It's very rich as expected. It's at first nosing, it's more perfumey than the other two. It's got a rich, intense beeswax. It's like a million bees forming a rich, rich honey, and that immediately comes up.
It's everything I expected. It's already, I can tell without even really diving in, it's one of my favorite whiskeys I've ever had. It's everything Narby said, and immediately, obviously, without even having to dig for anything, it's all the best that Springbank has to offer. It's the rich honey and beeswax, like Narb mentioned. It's got a lot of coffee and espresso. It's got a perfect mix of both the rich honey mustard sherry vinaigrette, like this rich acidic quality like vinegar, but with honey mustard notes, combined with those actual luscious tropical fruits that usually is more bourbon-y whiskeys for Springbank, but they're right in there. They're in the background, but they're in there as well, very powerfully. Immediate first nosing, it's amazing. Very impressive.
I'm getting like cherries, almost cooked cherries. It's almost like you cherry pie, like you baked them. Carameled bananas, like cooked bananas where you put sugar on them and they become caramelized.
Very common, yeah, like flambéed or caramelized bananas.
It's sweet like milk chocolate. A lot of times you get dark chocolate in the sherried whiskeys, but it's super sweet like milk chocolate.
I'm even getting, which I don't typically get from Springbank all the time, but I'm getting some nice rich cigar box. Like a big humidor cigar box full of fresh Cuban cigars.
Yeah, I get that cigar paper that you said, the sweet, but almost more like sweet pipe tobacco. And that's got a beautiful orange marmalade. Really, not that orange peel, almost like an orange marmalade. Really, really sweet and luscious. And now it's just getting really, really candied. This is a whiskey that for 441, I was so surprised that I felt like it didn't need that much time, and even after the review, we spent more time with it. We were very surprised that it didn't really require that much time. Where I could tell this one is constantly changing. I say a few words, I put the whiskey down here, and then I bring it back up to the nose, and it keeps getting so much more and more and more.
Totally. Totally, always evolving.
It smells so fresh. It really, really smells so fresh. Where I think 441, which we liked more than 442, really smelled a little more aged. And this one is really, really complex, but it's got a lot of freshness to it as well.
Yeah, I remember on 441, we were saying it smelled much more aged than I thought, but also right at that point where there's a little bit of wood spice and a tiny bit of drying, but not too much like the peak. And this isn't even anywhere close to that, like Narby's saying. It's a good point. Compared to 441, it's much fresher. It still has some aged sherry qualities, but not nearly as old.
Yeah, big time. I mean, it sort of smells, but anywhere between that 25 to around that 25-year-old range. And then again, this is a 24-year-old whiskey. So many luscious fresh fruits, like a lot of red fruits, but also mango and so much of that rich orange and milk chocolate and cola, and going obviously the classic that musky Springbank, that honey mustard vinaigrette that Mike was talking about. I don't really need to mention that again. He made it very clear earlier.
Heavy, like Narby said, red fruits, which aren't as quite typical in Springbank, like cooked strawberries, like rich jam compote cooked strawberries, as well as the apricots and the bananas and the figs and the mango. Like pretty much has everything you could think of in a sherry whiskey.
Yeah, it's so good. Now I'm starting to get like a lot of roasted nuts. It's just got everything. It's got the leather, the coffee, the nuts, a million spices, a million fruits. Yeah. Obviously, the classic sherried stuff where you're getting, some of the toffee and figs and dates that are so common in most sherried whiskeys, but this just has so much more. It really has all of it.
Almost like a Dalmore, with those rich honey roasted glazed nuts, like the most exquisite, delicious nuts that you've ever had. Yeah, really interesting.
This is incredible.
Super complex.
Should we hit the palate?
Let's do it.
All right.
And also a good point, unlike 442, where it was different flavors but very schizophrenic, like they didn't mesh well, everything here meshes perfectly well. Perfect. And it's all very easily identifiable throughout, even though it's quite different. Let's do it.
Oh, it's almost like you don't want to talk because you're just experiencing so much beauty in your mouth. And it's just your saliva's getting going. It's just releasing. It's getting so juicy in there. Oh, it's got beautiful velvety mouthfeel. It's very creamy. Big attack of that beeswax, that rich honey, the mustard and vinaigrette, dark espresso. Few little drying notes in the back with wood spice and some leather in the background, and you're getting those rich dark red fruits we talked about as well. Just a pure joy, and I'm definitely getting some orange infused milk chocolates. Really, 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 just on point.
This is gonna sound crazy. Just I can't even get past the mouthfeel for starters. It's like not only did I just chug like a full glass of olive oil, like that oily, which is what you want from a whiskey that strong at 58%, but at the same time, it's like I just bit into 1,000 of the ripest, most perfect, delicious, most luscious fruits you can ever imagine, of every type, of every orchard on the face of the earth. just the mouthfeel, just that alone, describing that, it's blowing my mind. And then of course getting into coffee, espresso, dark roasted walnuts, like Narby said before, on the nose. It's more sweet, like he said, fresh pipe tobacco, the flavors of that. Of course, the honey mustard and the sherry. It's just mind blowing, and it's just begun. Wow, this is amazing.
It's got, going back to the nose. It's got this sweetness, and what I could think of it, like the best way to describe it, it's almost like a caramelized burnt sugar, like in a good way, not burnt in a bad way. Kind of like a creme brulee when you do the sugar on top. When you put the sugar on top, you put the fire and that crispiness. It's got like some of that. It's like a brown sugar sweetness that just makes you want to bite into the glass. Like it literally makes me want to bite the glass as I'm nosing it. It's so perfect on the nose. It's incredible. This is very strong, and it should be tasted with a drop of water. You kind of don't want to, because it's so delicious and perfect the way we tasted it. But I will add a couple drops of water and let you guys know if it benefits.
Just
from
try
it.
it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, some whiskeys are absolute fire. Like I remember, I forget which one was a stronger alcohol. That was much more fiery.
That was
than
Cask
this one.
442.
Yeah, the last one. That was much more fiery than this one. This one definitely has those more oily coating qualities that I find with really good high-end strong whiskeys that aren't off-putting. So you don't really need the water, but of course this high, either way, we got to experiment with some water.
Yeah, what the water did for me, and I only put 3 drops in each of ours, so it's going to lower the ABV a little bit, but not that much. But what it did is it actually made everything that much sweeter and more crystallized. In terms of finding new flavors,
Yeah, just
I don't really think I'm finding anything new, and maybe I didn't add that enough water, but just between 3 drops, it almost makes everything a little more crystallized and even sweeter.
Yeah, just more gummy bears. A lot more gummy bears.
One more taste.
Wow.
Oh.
I think it got a little better with water, especially on the palate.
It did.
On the palate.
It did. It could be a second taste thing. It could be a water thing.
Who knows? It's incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's just pure enjoyment. Again, the wood play in this is absolutely perfect, because it's very, very little. Well, it's spicy. It's got some peppery notes. It's spicy, but in terms of drying woodness, it's just ever so lightly drying in the back to the middle of your tongue, and then from the front to all the way in the back of your tongue. It's very, very luscious. Obviously, the closer back you go, in the back right here of my tongue, I feel that drying leather and espresso, and then once it gets towards the middle, it's that rich beeswax, and even more in the front of the tongue, it's all those luscious fruits and everything. This is absolutely a perfect whiskey. I mean, wow. And the finish is lingering and lingering and lingering, and it's it's just so lovely. Mike, how would you score this guy?
I'll give it 98.
I'm gonna give it a 97. But absolutely incredible whiskey. I don't think we've ever scored a whiskey this high before on our reviews here. So far, out of all the reviews that we have done, Cask 443 is our favorite. The Cask 441 was incredibly epic as well.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Cask 442 was not disappointing, but based on how expensive these whiskeys are, you're approaching, how much are these whiskeys? Around $9,000 a bottle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, very, very expensive bottles. So obviously the miniatures are not that expensive, and that gives us a chance to try these. But if you're watching this review and you haven't seen Cask 442 and 441, check those out as well. Hope you guys enjoyed our little miniature series here. We've told you guys before that Springbank is our very favorite distillery. We have many, many more special Springbanks to come. Stay tuned. Please click the like button. Please subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our stuff, because there's many more reviews to come. And we really enjoy all the comments we've been getting. People have been very positive and asking us questions, both through email and the comments, both recommendations, suggestions. We appreciate all of that. And we'll see you guys soon for another malt review. Cheers.
And if you guys ever see this at an auction or ever get your chance to get your hands on it, do it. Get it done. Take it easy, guys.